Hey guys, I'm back. It's Wednesday. I'm back at Urban Zen, and I'm here today to talk about the topic from the 5th chapter in Your True You Journey, which is about truth sets me free. And you may have heard the saying, yeah, truth sets me free if it doesn't kill you first, right? Sometimes truth can be painful. But what I want to talk about is the upside of truth and how speaking our truth and owning our truth and coming across in an authentic way in relationship, not only can it bring freedom, but it also feels good. And so often in relationship, we are encountered with situations where we are asked to have conversations that may cause confrontation. They may feel difficult or tricky to navigate. And it's something that can hold us back and stop us in our tracks because we don't necessarily want to be causing harm or pain to others or ourselves. And so the whole thing that we've been talking about in the past 4 videos leading up to this of sort of trying and hiding and adapting ourselves or hiding what we're really thinking and holding back, that all bleeds into stopping us from being our most authentic self in relationship with others. And it also gets in the way of having actual really connected and authentic conversations that actually do feel good. And so what I want to talk about today is how you can start to bring everything that we've talked about leading up to today into relationship with other people. Right? So last week we talked about free to be me, which is great. And how we got to be free to be me was looking at those shoulds and expectations, looking at our self-judgment and looking at our fears of rejection and failure. And so if we pull all of that together, we now want to share and bring that into our relationships, and whether they're your personal relationships, professional relationships, or even a relationship with a higher power, then this is going to help make those relationships feel a lot more easier, a lot more free and connected. And so that's what we'll talk about today. So I want to use this analogy of a puzzle. I don't know if you guys are puzzle people, but growing up we used to do jigsaw puzzles all the time. And if you think that even if you have a puzzle of like 1,000 pieces, that even if you're missing that one piece, the puzzle is not complete. And it can niggle you and irk you, and you're wanting to get that final thing in there to have the whole picture. So I want you to think about yourself as a piece of the puzzle in life, that each one of us here on this planet, we each serve a very specific purpose, that we have a unique shape, we have a unique color, we have a unique place in the bigger puzzle that we fit. Some of us are edges, some of us are in the middle, some of us are corners, right? And that our job is to make sure that we find our shape, and we bring our shape into the piece of the puzzle, and recognizing that without us being our authentic self, we leave a gaping hole. Because as soon as I start to try to be somebody else, as soon as I hold back from what I'm really thinking and feeling, then it's not that I take on somebody else's shape and that we have 2 pieces of the top right corner all of a sudden and not the bottom left. It's that I'm just not part of that puzzle anymore. And so if you use that analogy and think that you are a piece of the puzzle of life, and your job and your sole purpose here on earth is to, how do you find and accept and embrace and express your piece of the puzzle. And so that has to do with knowing yourself, with loving yourself, and then bringing that version of yourself into authentic relationship with other people. And communication is how we relate to people. So we're talking about communication here. So speaking our truth, that can be a really freaking scary thing, because when we are sharing the most authentic part of ourselves, we are opening ourselves up to rejection. And it's one thing to be rejected if I am, I'm going to use an outfit as an example. If I'm putting on an outfit that I don't actually love and I don't actually feel as me, but I wear it out and nobody likes it, big deal. I don't love it. It's not a big deal. If I'm wearing my favorite outfit or my favorite piece of jewelry or my favorite pair of shoes, and I feel that this just totally embodies who I am, and then I go out and somebody makes a comment about it, that's going to hurt. is going to hurt big time, because it is connecting to the real me, and that's being rejected, right? It's not just like this crappy old thing that I don't care about. No, it's the part of myself that is most important to me. So speaking our truth and speaking what we're really feeling it makes us vulnerable to people. It makes us vulnerable to rejection, to failure. And as I talked about a couple of videos ago, that can really stop us from taking action. One of the things that I offered back then was to bring love into the situation. And so we can bring that into this conversation as well, is that if I can know that I have my own truth, I'm connected to my own truth. I know what I'm feeling. I know what I'm thinking. I know what my desires for the world are. I know what my wants are, my needs, all that good stuff that we talked about last time. And I can bring some love into that situation. It makes it a lot easier to be able to share it. And by love, I mean one, loving myself anyway, even if it does become rejected, but also from a place of surrender. I'm going to use surrender as another form of love, which talks about that letting go that was in the first video in this series, that I can share it without wanting, I'm sharing it because it's for the highest good of everyone, myself and the other person, even if they don't necessarily want to hear what I have to say, but I'm going to be able to let go of the outcome of what I have to say. It makes it easier to be able to share ourselves. And this takes a lot of work. I'll say that this is something that I have to work on constantly for myself, because whenever you're putting yourself out there into the world, whether it's on a video like this or just in a relationship with a partner or your kids or family or friends, that when we are allowing ourselves to be seen, that practice of letting go of the outcome or the attachment to the outcome in the relationship is really hard, because we want to be in relationship with people. We want to feel loved. We want to be accepted. And so it takes a lot of sort of inner work to be able to share our truth with detachment to what the other person, how the other person is going to respond. But I heard this expression a few years ago that I'll share with you that has really helped me, and it was just like so to the point. So basically, what the advice that I was given was, if I'm showing up to a conversation and I'm bringing my truth and I'm bringing it with love, right? So I'm not bringing it to try to hurt the other person. You know how sometimes you can say something and you really want the person to feel pain, you want to put them in their place? That's not what we're talking about here, right? We're saying I'm bringing my authentic self, how I'm feeling, what I'm needing, and I'm bringing it because I love myself and I love you and I want the best for both of us. Then let the chips fall where they will. And to me, there was so much freedom in that I was able to give myself permission to be like, you know what? I can't control the other person. I can't control what they think about me, how or if they want to be in a relationship with me. But I'm being honest and integrity with myself, and that's really important. And there's freedom that comes from that, because then I don't have to be worried about what happens next, right? I can let the order of the universe, the pieces of the puzzle, fall into the places that they are meant to be in. Because if I'm trying to force a puzzle piece into one shape or fit one into the other, and it's not supposed to be, it's fruitless. But showing up with the truth and the love and letting that go allows my piece of the puzzle to fall where it needs to, and your piece of the puzzle fall where it needs to, and then all of a sudden we have the picture being completed. So that analogy and those phrases have really helped me find the courage, I suppose is the word that I'm looking for, to be able to express myself. And so once you have the courage, I want to leave you with one or two tools that may help to find the words and make conversations feel a little bit easier, feel a little bit juicier, even if they're about something difficult and something that may be a little bit taboo, or you might have a difference of opinion, but perhaps you can start to engage from a different place and find that they actually can be fun and freeing. So where do I want to start with that? So I think the first thing is that there's different levels of truth and ways of being honest with yourself. And so a lot of times we operate on a very, one second, I'm just gonna fix my phone before it falls over. A lot of times we can operate, actually I might just move down here. We can operate on a very surface level of just kind of like the answer or the conclusion that we've come to. And so, for example, I'm going to use like going out to eat as an example. We're given a choice. Do you want to go for pizza or do you want to go for Thai food? And so we're kind of like having to pick one. We're having to come up with the answer. And so the truth might be, I want to go for pizza. Okay, fine. There's, that's seemingly innocuous. And so saying that truth, totally fine. There's also probably some truth behind the truth that leads you to that answer. And that's the space that a lot of times we don't often engage in, but that can actually lead to a lot of connection. Because for example, say I'm given the choice, do you want to go for pizza or Thai food? And I say pizza. And then my partner or my husband or my friend says, no, well, I want Thai food. Well, now all of a sudden we're having this like tug of war, pizza, Thai food. And how do we come out of that, right? If we're able to connect to the truth behind our truth, then we have a greater understanding of those feelings, the needs that I talked about last time, and are able to actually find solutions and conversations that have connection as opposed to feeling like we're butting heads all the time. So for an example, again, what do you want for dinner, pizza or Thai food? So say I know in my heart I want pizza, but I'm able to slow that down and check why. And I'm thinking, do you know what? I really want the pizza, one, because I have a little bit of an upset stomach and I know that some spicy food is going to make it worse. Maybe it's also that the restaurant that serves the pizza that we're gonna go for, I love the ambiance there. They have beautiful candles, they play beautiful Italian music. It makes me feel beautiful when I walk in there. If we go for Thai food, it means sitting in a takeout place. And so that's not the ambiance I want. So then maybe there's also one of the reasons why I want pizza is because we just went on holiday to Italy and it reminds me of being like on holiday, and so I have really great memories, something like that, right? So if I'm able to connect to those pieces of truth of myself and then bring that into the conversation, it creates a whole new opportunity to be discussing about the situation at hand. In this case, it's what to eat, but in other cases, it might be something which may or may not be a big deal, but in other situations, things that could be really important. So for example, if I say, well, I want pizza, and the other person says, well, I want Thai food, instead of just going like this, it can slow down and say, do you know what, actually, I just want to share with you why I wanted the pizza, just so you know, and then maybe we can see, because I'm curious why you want Thai food, right? So I'm wanting the pizza because I want to remember, I want to feel like we were on holiday, I want to be somewhere beautiful, and I want to eat something that doesn't upset my stomach and makes my body feel good. So then the other person, if they can hear that, and then they can be like, oh wow, like, thanks for telling me that, right? Then they may be able to connect to why they want their Thai food. And so again, it could, who knows what it is. Maybe it's because they want something flavorful. They don't want something boring. My husband says this all the time. I need some food that's not boring and has some spice to it. Right? Maybe it's because it's quick and easy, and they don't have to sit down for a long time, and we could take it and eat it outside. Who knows whatever their reasons are. But once we're able to understand those levels of truth, also call it your why, right? Then it creates this place of empathy. So then I can take on board, oh, you want something where you can eat outside, and you want something quick and easy. I want something that feels good in my body and makes me feel beautiful. Great. Well, now if that's what we're trying to create here, it's not so much about Italian or Thai food, pizza or Thai food, it's how do we find something that meets all of those wants and needs and desires coming from both places. So that's an example of how the truth behind the truth can really set you free, right? Because now you're not in this argument, you're in this connected place, and you're able to be a little bit more creative. You're able to feel connected to the other person in finding a solution of where to go for food. And I think a lot of times we don't actually realize like that all those thoughts are going on behind us. Like we just kind of sometimes we just instinctively know I want the Thai or the pizza, right? Or like this is a yes or a no for me. We just instinctively know that. And so it does take the process of slowing down to be able to connect to the other layers of yourself before you can even express them to someone. Because if you're not connected to all of this, and it's interesting, you've been just watching my hands here, right? A lot of times we're making the decision, like it feels like it's in our head, but if we're not connected to our body and our gut and where that decision is coming from and our heart and all those different things, it's gonna be hard to explain that to other people. And that's where we end up feeling like we're more in conflict. So that's something that I want you to think about for yourself is how can you slow down to connect to your truth behind your truth. So when you have a final answer or you're making a decision about something, ask yourself why. Why did I decide that? And see what other parts of your own truth and your own authenticity you can come up with, and then see how could I start to share that and bring that into the conversation so people understand me better. By showing more of yourself and being more vulnerable, you may find that although there's risk to that because somebody could reject that and say, well, that's stupid. Why do you want to feel beautiful when you eat? Which may feel hurtful. That's a whole other thing of how to respond to hurtful comments. But you may find that they're able to open up more of themselves too. And now we have these two beautiful pieces of the puzzle coming together in that perfect match and that perfect fit to create the whole picture. Another tip is, so another way you can think about what I've just talked about is acknowledging. So there's an acronym that I'll share with you, AIR. I learned this back in the day in like corporate management training, and it's stuck with me since because it works like magic everywhere. So before responding, the R stands for responding. Before just responding with an answer, you're slowing down the conversation and acknowledging myself, acknowledging this is how I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling a little bit delicate. I'm feeling like I need some beauty. I'm feeling like I need spaciousness. Acknowledging the other person. I'm aware you may not need the same thing that I need right now. Whoa, when was the last time anybody ever said that? Like, to me, if somebody could say that to me, it's like, thank you for seeing me and seeing me for who I am. Even though you don't necessarily know my needs, you know that we're different. And that's a beautiful thing because so often we're asked to be the same. So to be able to say to somebody else, I'm needing this. I know you might not need the same thing right now. What is it that you need? Hello. So cool. And that's the acronym, acknowledging myself and inquiring, asking the other person, what about you? Getting curious before you come up with an answer, right? So that's another thing that you could do to really start to be sharing yourself and creating conversations that allow another person to share themselves, so that you're coming up with solutions that allow each of you to be your perfect piece of the puzzle. Right, so again, using this going out to dinner example, what do you want for dinner? Well, before even saying Italian or Thai, I could say, actually, do you know what? I'm not sure, however, I'm aware that I want to, be somewhere beautiful, eat food that makes my body feel good. But I'm also aware that, and so that makes me lean towards Italian, but I'm also aware that we've had pasta for like the last 3 nights in the row, and you might want something different. So can I just check in? What is it that you think you're wanting and needing right now? And then they're saying, well, actually, yeah, I do need some different flavors, or blah, 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 blah. So then you can say, all right, well, let's think about this. You need different flavors. I need this. What's a solution that's good for both of us? And maybe you decide to go for Middle Eastern food. Who knows, right? Maybe you find a third option out of that. Or maybe one of you says, actually, considering what you said, Thai is totally going to be okay for me. I can just have like sticky rice and sorbet or whatever, right? Like, who knows what the end result is, but the fact that you're engaging in that middle space that's a little bit gray, a little bit uncertain, a little bit vulnerable, but is full of your truth, there's integrity, there's honesty, you're going to get the answer that's the best fit for everyone. So I'm going to leave you with that. Feel free to use this the next time you're trying to figure out what to have for dinner. And I would also suggest try using this for like other things as well, maybe work decisions or living situations, right? Like I have a desire to move at the moment. My husband doesn't have the same desire. And so this is something that we're navigating. And the more that I can bring my truth into the situation, as opposed to just saying, can we move? Can we move? Can we move? Right? It's going to create a different way for us to be able to find a solution, a living situation that works for both of us. So this works on all levels of your life. So have fun with it. Let me know how it goes for you. Any questions, leave a comment and tag me below so I hear it. And we'll catch you next week. Take care. Bye.